Stadium today to work on some 2-minute stuff and kicking. Also, it's always good to get in our own stadium to get acclimated again. We were not in full gear. We were in our spiders, trying to do some mental work, break up camp a little bit. Some of the things that have been, pleasant surprise, Dante Crow is starting to get some meaningful reps, which is encouraging. And then Logan Harris is a guy that we're looking at center. He's taking some backup reps and doing a good job. Logan's got a strong guy. I think he's about 310 pounds, and sometimes you think a Wyoming player is not quite ready, but many times they can be more effective than what you might think. So we're taking a look at Logan in a backup role. I thought the quarterback threw the ball well today. Josh threw the ball, and I think Nick threw the ball well today. Jared Scott is coming around as a receiver. It was somewhat difficult to see some things on defense today, the fact that we were not in full pads. So this time, questions.
You mentioned Logan Harris at center, Craig. So is it still Gavin and Patrick competing for the number one spot? I know Scott likes to, experiment and work different guys in, but is that kind of where you're at center-wise right now with the number one spot?
Gavin's our number one center, but I think we're probably taking a look at Logan a little bit more than Patrick right now. We're going to continue to move those guys back and forth. But Logan has been a pleasant surprise for us. Initially, we thought he'd be a developmental guy, but I think he threw the shot put maybe 63 feet or something, and he's got good, strong presence, and he doesn't get flustered very much, and so he's been a real pleasant surprise. And obviously, anytime we have a player from Wyoming that's doing some good things, that's always encouraging.
Talking to Coach Vegan about Josh, it sounded like a lot of what he was working on this offseason was mental, but are there some kind of physical tweaks that you've seen or developments that you've seen, in this offseason with him?
His completion percentage needs to improve, and his interception ratio needs to go down, and we've seen that in fall camp. He's certainly not a finished product, but we want to get that completion percentage up in the high 60s, and the number of decisions that he's making, we chart that every day, the completion, interceptions, decision making, and we're well pleased. Certainly there's some days that are better than others, but Josh has owned his work and really become, I think, a really effective leader, but also he's improving on his fundamental skills.
Craig, I know I talked a little bit about running back, Milo and Nico in there. I know Kellen's been kind of limited and stuff, but would you say it's Milo and Nico kind of at the top right now, or any other guys since Kellen's been not getting as many reps, emerging or anything, or where's that standing?
Like to have somebody emerge, but that really has not been the case. We were really pleased with Kellen's movement, and we track a lot of things with GPS chips, and that's kind of some high-tech information that we have, but his player load and his acceleration was better than it was when he was a freshman. And so sometimes as a coach you say, well, that guy's moving better, and in fact the data showed that, but he's been nicked up with a hamstring, and so right now it's been between Milo and Nico carrying the majority of the load. I would say right now it'd be unlikely that we play a freshman at the tailback position. You never know, but that's how we see it.
I know in spring with Josh facing kind of a little bit of a different defense, that was kind of a challenge for him in terms of reading it. Is this fall, have you seen growth in that area too, just him being more familiar maybe with?
We have. Josh has studied a lot of tape during the course of the summer. And one of the advantages that Josh has had is the fact that he now has tape on himself from last year. Sometimes you can watch tape of somebody else, but when you're out there and you're going through it, and all of a sudden vicariously you can go through some things. And so that's been encouraging to see his improvement.
Talk about the progress that John Aquali's made. I mean, I know he played last year, but there wasn't a lot of numbers as far as catches go. But do you like where his progress is? And even though he didn't redshirt and play, do you like just the progression he's making into that receiver mix? I guess
every day's a new day, but yes, we do. He's done some good things, and I think also what has occurred last year, a lot of those receivers looked and they saw the number of older receivers that we have, whether it's tight ends or Tanner or Jake. And I think they look around the room now, look around the field and say, now's my time. And so you've seen accelerated growth.
Is Drew Van Manen back to full health?
Not quite yet, but he's taken reps, so it's good to see him out there. He doesn't have a red jersey on, so that's good.
How's everyone else health-wise? Same, cautious with some guys? Anything new?
A little bit. Sid tweaked his back a little bit, but in a different spot. So we'll probably hold him out tomorrow. You know, we sometimes get concerned about a lower back spasm and things like that, but it was a little bit higher than that.
Seems like that high altitude performance center is shooting up. Is it exciting to just see the development there?
Well, you know, sometimes when we're out there in the middle of practice, you don't recognize all the work that's gone on, and you know, we appreciate those working guys up there, and they're making great progress. Sometimes I was one of those, they call them a hottie, or I was a brick tender where I made all the mortar, so you know what, every once in a while I look up there and I see those guys and I want to go up there and start work. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.